On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline. Tell me
Yeah,
about
there's a
that.
lot that it's not like this, this paradise where you can be like, I'm just going to do the things that I like doing. And I don't like paying taxes, so I'm not going to worry about that. There are levels of expertise you need. And I like to say that there's kind of like these cutoffs that if I don't have an Instagram account, as pretty much any business owner, especially a blogger, though, it's going to hurt me because I have, applied to speak at conferences and they're like, oh, what's your Instagram handle? And it's like a required field because they just assume that you have it there. If I talk to brands, they're like, oh, what's your Instagram account? And so for someone to come to my Instagram account and see a list of, let's call it at least 50 posts on there that have good quality photos that are kind of showing my brand, that is infinitely more valuable than not having an Instagram account. And if I spend 40 or 50 hours a week on Instagram, I'm going to be one of the top Instagram masters in my field. I'm going to be growing my followers. Everyone in my niche is going to know me. I'm going to be creating so much value from Instagram that I'm going to be crushing it. But if I spend 5 hours, that isn't going to make me 5 times better than spending an hour a week just posting up 1 or 2 images and having my account. There's this, and it's different for everything, but it's trying to figure out where is this line of spending this amount of energy gets me 80% of the way there. And then I have to spend all this energy to get that last 20%. If you're not going to go all the way, it doesn't matter. So keyword research, yes. If you want to dive in and use that to drive your blog and you enjoy that, you can do an amazing thing. But if you don't care about that, you still need to have good recipe, like especially in food blogging, you still need to have good Google schema markup. You still need to make sure that your headers and that your site structure is good. You have to make sure it loads, these kind of foundational aspects of it, because without those, it actively hurts you. But once you get to that, then you can look at it and say, am I willing to put in all the additional effort to take me to that next level? And if not, then I shouldn't just kind of waste 2 or 3 hours a week. I should spend that on whatever I really want to dive into. And that could be doing videos or doing courses or doing summits, or doing podcasts. Like, we have a limited amount of time. So spend that on the areas that you really want to stand out in, and then make sure everything else is good enough, and then do the thing that's your superpower really and dive into that and really crush it.
I see the blog as a way to play the long game, to have content on the ready for whenever people sort of find your website and want to get to know you and things like that. That's how I approach it in my business. It's not a blogger's first approach. Mine is more of a content first on social media. Oh, and go check me out on my thing. But it is the long game regardless. Am I right? And it's how we're connecting to our audience. It's how we're providing them a snapshot of who we are and what we do. So I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track. It's a traffic source.
Yeah, I think it's a way to, one, have a record of what you've done. Like, I've been, Amazing Food Made Easy has been out there for 10 or 11 years at this point. Like, if I had only focused on, I think MySpace was still around when I started it, like, there are social media platforms that don't exist anymore. And if all my kind of history was on there, I would have lost it. And to me, it's kind of my home base. It's where everything points to, people come back to. It's where my newsletter is. And it's something that I own. Like, that and your mailing list are the only things that you really have any long-term control over. And so I try to use it as a real home base. And like you're saying, that it is this history of information and kind of who I am. That doesn't mean that I can't have social media presences, and it doesn't mean that I can't go do other things. But I think having a blog and having kind of that home base that you own is critical to just kind of risk adverse behavior for me, that like, if Facebook changes their algorithm, like, it's not going to decimate my business overnight.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you have like ad networks who want to access your readers, and then you also have courses, classes, book sales. Are you focused more on the ad networks or on the building your audience and monetizing that?
So for me, I came to ad networks pretty late. I finally got on Ad Thrive, which was, it's a good one for food bloggers, 2 years ago. Before that, I didn't have an ad network on my site. I was 100% focused on selling products and services to my fans, which helped me attract a certain audience. I think ads are a great foundation. I've put them on my site since, and I think they're a good way to help bring in money that, in my opinion, should allow you to do other things. And my example is, numbers are very relative to each other. What's a lot to somebody can be nothing to someone else. But if you have 100,000 monthly visitors and you want to double your income, if you are on ad networks, you have to double your traffic. And you've probably been working 3, 4, 5, 10 years to get to that point. So to double your income, you have to double your traffic. Or you could put out a book or a course or do a paid for summit. You can do other things that are going to allow you to monetize the audience you already have coming in. That's not going to hurt your ad numbers. And it's also going to allow you to build this following. And that's where, if you look at the site traffic for a lot of blogs, almost everyone's new coming in. Like, it's a ton of new people. And so that's why they don't care about what you're writing, about your personal aspects, your authenticity, because they're there for the first time and they probably won't come back. When you start monetizing in other ways, you're trying to attract people, you're trying to build up trust, you're trying to speak to a specific community, and that allows you to monetize the solving of problems. And in my opinion, I think it also makes your blog stronger for the people that are coming for the first time, because it does have a more human touch and you can start creating those longer term interactions.
So how do we take our blogs, even if you're looking at it from my point of view, which it's a content ad for me, it's not my main source, but even if it's somebody like myself, how do we use our blogs to take people and move them from just the new people who are coming in into a raving fan, into a lead? Like, how do we convert from them?
So I think blogs are great for bringing in new people from Google, from different traffic sources. I am a huge fan of like mini email courses as a way to build trust. So that's one of the things that I try to do, is I try to have solid content on my blog. It's content that shows my expertise, and it's content that is solving a whole lot of small specific problems. So, and this is where we come back to Google keyword research in some cases, that it is like, I can figure out what problems people are searching for. And so when someone says, what's the best way to sear a ribeye after sous vide? Like, I know that's a high keyword search phrase, and then I can create content around it. But my goal isn't to just have them click on ads. It's to show my expertise and say, like, hey, you're interested in searing a steak. You want to know more about, how to use your sous vide machine. If you're searching for that, you're probably a beginner. So here's a course that I have that's a free email course. And then that's where I really use it to try to build authority and trust with them. That I promise them, I make a promise. In that case, it's like, I will get you using your sous vide machine and feeling comfortable with it in a week. And then by the end of that week, they feel comfortable with their sous vide machine. And because of that, now they want to be on my newsletter. They start buying my cookbooks. They start joining me for hands-on cooking classes, kind of this whole ecosystem of products and services I have. But without that trust and without my website bringing those people in, it's really hard to create fans.
Okay. Are you laughing at how red my face is? Yeah.
And we're still recording. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. We got a blooper reel. Can we stop recording?